Hi everyone, my name's Monty and I am the Youth and Children Coordinator for East End United, and welcome to this week's Children's Time. So, we always start our children's church school with lighting a candle. And we take this moment as a moment of quiet, of prayer, of reflection. And now this is the time where we would go around the circle and share our apples and our onions. And so if you want, you can pause the video and you can take a minute to think about your apple and your onion of the week. And I'll go first. My apple of the week was that I went on a long walk down streets I had never been before. And I noticed houses that I had never noticed before, and it felt very precious. And my onion of the week is that sometimes I feel sad during this time and worried, and that's been hard. Now, if you want, you can share your apples and onions with your family or your siblings or whoever you're with that is your loved one. So, oh wow, it's smoky. Today, we are going to be focusing on creating poetry and nature poetry, to be more specific. I think that the times where I feel closest to God is when I'm in nature or when I'm creating. And this week on Sunday at 8:30 p.m., it's Earth Hour, where everyone can turn off their lights for an hour, sort of in solidarity with Earth and the environment, and how precious it is and how we need to protect it. And so I thought, perhaps we could make some poetry together, do some art. So I found a poem that I really love, and I decided to illustrate it. That means to draw out the pictures for this poem. And I invite you to do the same thing. So I'm going to read you the poem and show you my illustrations. And then, if you want, you can do the same thing for your own poem or a poem that you love. So this poem is by a man named Paul Carroll. And he's a poet from the US. And he brought a lot of poetry to Chicago. So he really started a poetry movement in Chicago. And then later he moved to North Carolina. And I really think this is a beautiful poem. So, I want to write a poem the birds will understand, and the snakes and stones. And the trees with their secrets and green faces. And the whales and the dolphins in the middle of the ocean. Let it talk with the aubergine who knows the moon is a person in the sky. And should it be the last poem in the world, let it be among the first in worlds we have never seen. where it may talk to rivers and animals we've only seen in dreams. Let it walk around in rooms where God's footprints have remained behind. Let it be something I am unable to imagine here. There'll be fish there. I may be riding on the back of one today. Will the poem be about the cheetahs and the wind we only see when we're in love? So the thing I like about that poem is it feels like a jumping off point. It inspires me. It inspires me to go out and write a poem for nature and write a poem for the God that is in the natural world around us, right? So I invite you to take a moment to either find a poem that you really like or write your own poem. And you can write it down and then create illustrations for it. So it's like your very own poetry book with pictures. And if perhaps writing isn't something you're very comfortable with yet, then you can ask your parents or a guardian or a sibling to help you write it down. So at the end of each church school, we have a moment of silence and we share our gratitude. So we'll light the candle again and we'll take a moment to think about the things that we feel grateful for. I feel grateful that I have people who I love, who I can talk to on the internet or on the phone. And I feel grateful for you who are hopefully watching this. I feel grateful for poetry. I love the line, let it walk around in rooms where God's footprints have been left behind. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Till next time.